this has to deal with Pete Buttigieg, the guy who's in a strong fourth place. That's right, him. Guess what I'm going to be talking about?
A strong fifth place?
Well, maybe. Buttigieg fundraiser offering campaign influence in exchange for donations. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
That sounds like American corruption.
Absolutely. So an email exchange reviewed by Axios showed a top fundraiser for Pete Buttigieg offering a rich prospective donor access to the South Bend, Indiana mayor's presidential campaign. Oh my goodness. Whoa, it's like a donor has access to a political candidate, and if you want to have access, you got to give some donations, and he could put in a good word for you. The only way you could talk to Pete is, being a really good donor.
But Kit, Pete has never done anything like that before, has he?
No, it's Pete is against corporate donations, except for when it's, people who work for a corporation or high level who directly donate to me or go through bundlers. That's fine. Yeah, that's okay.
Right. But Pete would never do that.
So check this out. HK Park, who according to the Buttigieg website has raised at least $25,000 for the campaign, told a potential donor in a recent email that if you want to get on the campaign's radar now before he's flooded with donations after winning Iowa and New Hampshire, you could use the link below for donations. So this was tweeted out by The Intercept's Midan Hassan. That this was unusually blunt even for modern pay-to-play standards, and it's pretty brazen. Brendan Fisher, Federal Reform Program Director at the Campaign Legal Center, told Axios that Park's email is an example of a campaign offering potential donors an opportunity to buy influence. It's rare that the public has an opportunity to see it in writing. And remember this goes for a lot of Democrats who are in office and Republicans, because remember, Democrats and Republicans are both bought by the people in Wall Street, big banks, and major corporations. Never, ever forget that. It's very telling and concerning that one of the campaign's major bundlers would talk like that. And here, I just want to end it with something from Senator Bernie Sanders when he pointed out at the last debate that there's been at least a number of billionaires that are supporting Buttigieg's campaign, 39 to be exact. This is why 3 people who own more wealth than the bottom half. We need to get money out of politics. We should run our campaigns on that basis. And what he meant by that is when Buttigieg was called out by both Senator Bernie Sanders and Senator Elizabeth Warren in regards to his wine cave meet and greet that he had with his very high influential lobbyists. So, I mean, guys, I want to get your comments on this, because when we look at Pete Buttigieg and how he's running his campaign, the only way to get access through him is by being a major donor, by having money. And this is why we got to get money out of politics. But it also said something else about Buttigieg's characters, and that is this. He's going to listen to his donors. To quote Donald Trump from the first Republican primary debate, "I give these people money and they do what I say." Those lobbyists and top bundlers are going to be giving Pete Buttigieg money, and he will be doing exactly what they say. It won't be in your interest, though. Daniel, Paul, take it away.
Yeah, so this is exactly what we've come to expect with Pete. I still remember just like 2 weeks ago when we first started, like legitimately going like, okay, Pete Buttigieg, let's actually talk about him. He's actually getting a reasonable number of people. Let's like let people know who he is. And I still remember people commenting on those videos. It's like apparently like you can talk a lot of things about Biden and no one makes any noise. You can talk things about Warren, you'll get some, but like Pete people, like I mean, his staff is really, really strong in the comments. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
So
with a link to his campaign website too.
So yeah, Pete is exactly what he's always been. He has been a guy who is happy to be in a smoke-filled room with people behind closed doors, taking money for favors, and doing what other people tell him to do. He's a wonderful employee if you can afford him, and he is quite expensive. And his rate, as we're running for president, seems to be going up and up and up. And I really loved how in the last debate, Bernie Sanders pointed out that Biden and Pete are in a race to see who can get the most billionaires
Biden's
to give
in the
them
lead.
money.
He's
And
got
Biden's
44.
in the lead, but maybe he might not be for long. And that wine cave Pete is doing quite a thing. So,
Yeah.
Paul, what do you think?
So they do this thing. I say centrist, establishment Democrat types do this thing where they try to pretend like we've won this battle, right? You have to take the corporate money to win. We showed you that last time. And it's like, no, you didn't. if you assume that Hillary won on her own merits in the primary, then I could see how you have that reading. But that's just conveniently ignoring the rigging. You showed us yet again that taking that corporate money hurts you, right? That people see that's important. And think back to our early predictions, right? We were talking about, oh, if you have a lot of centrist corporatist types, taking the corporate money, it's going to split that vote. Right, they're going to try to split Bernie's vote, and they're going to split the vote themselves. And as long as they can keep Bernie from getting a full 50%, they'll have some golden boy that will rise to the top. And it's like, well, some section of that is throwing their money behind Deval Patrick and Bloomberg, but you've got this Pete and Biden duking it out, like you mentioned, Daniel. Like that money is spread pretty thin, right? That centrist, establishment Democrat type coming into February here looking like we got to figure out one of them, whichever one of them does better in Iowa, that's the one. Money will go that way for the rest of it.
And so that's one other thing that we've been thinking about. Like, how does Bernie Sanders get that 50%? He'll have to pull something. I'm sure he's thought about it if he doesn't get 50% and how he will be able to pull a rabbit out of that hat. So really, let's try and get 50. How does he do that? Well, if you have splintered establishment people, you have Warren either joining Sanders or dropping out. You have the similar happening with Yang and Tulsi. That's a path because they're going to be split. And if Sanders wins the first 4 primaries, they're going to have a really hard time, even the media, saying anything other than Sanders is taking this. I don't even think Wolf Blitzer could say he's in a poor first place 4 times over. So,
well, Daniel, in the story that we'll be actually covering in a little bit, somehow CNN's going to screw that up too.
Oh yeah, no, but it's fine. But they only have, again, like we're getting about 5% of the viewership of CNN.
Yeah.
So
and CNN's done all their tricks already.
Yeah.
Like we keep pointing out the same tricks. They keep doing the same tricks.
It doesn't matter if no one watches them, which is the path they're going on.
Yeah.
So
one other final note for the Buttigieg story, and that is, we have to get money out of politics. This is a problem that's impacting Democratic and Republican establishment leadership, and we got to let the average voter, you guys, all of you know that you have to make your voices heard because we have to reform this political system. And also, from Chris Pyle, thank you for the super chat. Gotta shake that money tree in the wine cave. Oh yeah, gotta shake that money tree in the wine cave.
That's what Pete's doing. Pete Buttigieg.
Which is 39 billionaire.
Shaking that money tree.
Yeah, which is 39 billionaire. Billionaire. So why did I screw that up twice? Billionaire supporters. So there we go.
Billions and billions.
Billions and billions and billions. So
there'd be billions.
Yeah, so there we go. So again, got to get money out of politics because this is a corrupt system. I mean, think about it. How did we get Trump in the first place? Because of a corrupt neoliberal system. And here's basically a prediction. Pete Buttigieg still in that strong fourth place.